And Clark carries it inside the 25-yard line. Eric Allen on the stop and a big gain of 22 to one of the more reliable veterans in the league, Clark.
Well, this is all Schrader because Joe Wolf working on Fuller up top pushes him to the high road, and Schrader feels the pressure but stays right in there, and this throw is right on line. Clark does a nice job on the out beating Eric Allen. And I got to tell you, for the life of me, I cannot understand why they do not play Gary Clark all the time. To me, I think that's stupid.
He's the only receiver in the NFL in the last 9 years who has 50 or more catches, and that's in jeopardy this year, coming in with only 25. First and 10 at the 24. Cardinals play. Schrader fires, and the pass is caught for a short gain. That was Randall Hill with his first catch of the game, and McMillan covering. Gain of 4 that time.
Yeah, but what that does right there to the Eagles is let them know that regardless of where you're at on the field as a receiver, Schrader can get the ball there. Now there's a pickup of, 3 yards, but he threw that ball about 40 yards completely across the field. That's the kind of arm strength Schrader has. Now one guy he's not going to be able to find is Gary Clark because he's on the sideline.
Schrader is 3 for 3 thus far. Faces a 2nd and 6 at the 20-yard line. On the delay, Ronald Moore. Cardinals already in field goal range. Will bring up a 3rd and short after that 4-yard pickup. Andy Harmon on the tackle. So far different start than 2 weeks ago.
Now the Cardinals will switch some personnel, and 2 guys come into the Cardinal offense that absolutely have to be in there all the time. Gary Clark, as we mentioned, and then Larry Centers. I think Centers is a player you have to get the ball in his hands at least 15 to 20 times a game. And then Clark is a player who has the big plays written all over him, and you got to get him the ball.
3rd and 2. 1 second, they better get it off, and they don't. I think we're going to have a delay of the game penalty against the Cardinals, which will set them back 5 yards, and that is a big 5-yard penalty because instead of 3rd and 2, they'll now face a 3rd and 7.
Delay of game, offense, 5 yards, still 3rd down.
And you could hear Schrader audibling up there, and you could see the wide receivers looking and not getting the call. And Schrader specifically turned outside to Clark and yelled the red 80 out to him. And by that time, the clock had run down.
This is the 9th play of the drive. Cardinals have used up more than 6 minutes. Again, they go down to 1 second before the snap and a blitz, and the pass caught up the middle. And a first down to the 10-yard line. Brian Reeves, who caught the winning touchdown pass last week against the Giants in the back parts of the end zone.
Well, I got to tell you right now, this is a tremendous job of the offensive line and Schrader communicating. Listen to this. You know what's so good about that? So many times you hear the quarterback making calls, but the offensive line has got to be on the same page with their line calls, too. And Cunningham, the center, made a great adjustment right there.
First and goal at the 10. Here's Ronald Moore. And gets to the 9, maybe the 8-yard line. Ball control for the Cardinals here in the first quarter with under 5 minutes remaining. Cardinals red zone 26 times. They have scored 14 touchdowns and are a surprising 11th. A lot of people thought with that offense they'd be much lower down, Matt.
Yeah, and I'm one of them. And I think right now, what the Cardinals hoped that they would get out of Schrader, they're getting. Now, he's in sync right now. He's finding the open receiver on the blitz, and their run game is really working well.
And the pitch is to Moore going left. Trap. And he gets it down to the 6-yard line where it'll be 3rd down and goal. William Perry making the tackle for the Eagles.
What you could see right there was the Philadelphia Eagles playing their keys. when the tight end came back in motion, you saw everybody shift to that side. There's a strong tendency in the running game of the Cardinals. And when you can hone in on those tendencies, it makes your job defensively that much easier.
See where the Eagles are midway in the NFL and defending in the red zone. Gary Clark has returned to the game for the Cardinals on 3rd and goal. He is at the top of your picture. And now the Cardinals will use up a timeout here with the clock down to 3 seconds. Well, the Phoenix Cardinals, who feel at 10-6 they could gain a wild card berth, and they certainly would have to win the rest of their games, but they face a tough one here today against the Eagles, and again next Sunday right here at Sun Devil Stadium against the Bears.
And the Bears are really starting to play well right now.
Big win today over the Lions.
Real big. And the Philadelphia Eagles, on the other hand, they're aware of that too. They know they have to win this game to stay right in the middle of that wild card thing and stay a game behind the Cowboys.
First time out of this first half, and the Cardinals wisely taking it. Not want to squander a pretty good opportunity here.
Yeah, a team like the Cardinals, they can't afford to blow scoring opportunities because they just don't score that much. So when you get them, you got to make sure you put some points up there.
Again, Clark and Prohl out to the right. Randall Hill solo out to the left. 3rd and goal at the 7. To throw and going to the corner of the end zone, incomplete. Clark was his intended receiver, but a host of defensive backs for the Eagles were defending. And that'll bring up 4th down. Greg Davis in to try the field goal. Jay Schrader is the holder. This will be a 24-yard attempt. Davis kicked a 45-yarder against the Giants last week. Fumbled snap, but Davis's kick is good, and the Cardinals jump on top first. 24-yard field goal by Greg Davis, and it's 3-0 in favor of Arizona. Sun Devil Stadium, 61 degrees. That's cool for this time of the year. Arizona leading Philadelphia 3-0 along with Matt Millen. This is Dick Stockton. Byron Evans, of course, out with a broken leg, and Jay Schrader is the quarterback with Berline out of action for the Cardinals. Teams meeting for the second time in 3 weeks as the Eagles won 2 weeks ago by 10 points. 1st and 10 on the 33. Charlie Garner running up the middle. That's one of the big problems lately for the Philadelphia Eagles has been the running back injuries. James Joseph, who's expected back today after suffering a sprained knee, missed the last 2 games. And Garner, who's been the leading rusher, out with a various group of injuries, including the thigh, which has bothered him lately, and hasn't been effective in the last 46 rushes compared with the top 40. So the injuries have hurt to him. 2nd and 5 at the 38. Looking to throw, and the pass too low for Fred Barnett.
I think the one thing that the Philadelphia Eagles have to re-emphasize with Randall Cunningham is getting rid of the ball quick. Remember at the beginning of the season, they came out and he took his time, he threw downfield a little bit, and he wasn't as much on rhythm. And then Kotite put that clock in to re-emphasize getting rid of the ball fast. And then I think their passing game really picked up. And I think now is the time to re-emphasize getting back to that quick throw.
Cunningham is 0 for 5. And the Cardinals are going to call their 2nd timeout. So we still have 2:29 remaining in the first quarter, and already the Cardinals have used up 2 of their timeouts in this first half. NFC wild card contenders, and this game may mean even more for the Eagles now, considering that the Bears won, and now putting pressure on Philadelphia, that coming in the game as the top wild card team. And Green Bay losing as well as Detroit. 3rd down and 5 after the Cardinal timeout. And the flip. James Joseph, and he is stopped. An aroused Cardinal defense. Terry Hogue, another former Philadelphia Eagle, and a loss of 5.
Well, he tried to use the quick pitch with that speed, but Hogue was right there, stayed on the end of the line of scrimmage, and all he did was just contain. I mean, when you're asked something very simple like this, you watch Hogue, you're just going to come up, just don't let anybody get back outside of you. And what he did was he beat the block of Bailey, 82. He just came right up and turned him back inside.
Brian Barker will kick to Patrick Robinson. And the third punt of the game for Barker. He gets off a beauty. Robinson back inside his 20. And a fine play on the open field that time by Ken Rose after the 48-yard kick by Barker. So the Cardinals take over, leading 3-0. Steve Berline, sitting in the stands, had arthroscopic surgery on his left knee, and he expects to be back on December the 4th for the game at Houston. He played despite that injury last week, and now Jay Schrader, who engineered a big win over the Vikings earlier this season, has the Cardinals first down on their 26. Ronald Moore, running exclusively up the middle and getting good yardage, picks up 4 on that first play, and it was Romanowski on the stop. There's the other quarterback, Jim McMahon, who actually requested to start this game and was turned down by Buddy Ryan and was not at all happy about it.
Yeah, well, it's not the first game that he's requested, but speaking of Jim McMahon, you know, he told me this is the lowest point of my career. He said, you know how low I am? I'm lower than a kicker. And when you hit that, sure, that is the absolute bottom.
Sure, the kickers felt good about that.
Lower than a kicker. Kickers already know it.
Second down and 6. It's time to hand off to Moore. Looked like an awkward handoff that time, and a gain of 1 yard. Leonard Renfro, who was in a tackle replacing the refrigerator.
Yeah, a nice job of that Philadelphia Eagle defense of just stepping up and stuffing people. And watch Bill Romanowski just get his hands on, and then Ware just driving into him. See the face mask. And you know, the amazing thing about this game, there are battles going on like that every single play. And you really don't get to see them. You see the tackle, but there is 10 individual battles where guys are just fighting and punching and grabbing face masks.
Go right, freeze!
Remember, these guys don't like each other. Buddy Ryan's team against his former club. 3rd and 5. This may be the last play of the quarter. Schrader's pass is caught by Randall Hill, and that will be the last play of the first quarter. It is a first down as well for the Cardinals, with Eric Allen making the stop. And that is the end of the first quarter here at Sun Devil Stadium with the score: the Arizona Cardinals 3, the Philadelphia Eagles 0. Press. Could be a combination of both. There's Vaughn Johnson.
And that's a big man. The Eagles just signed him this week to replace the roster spot of Byron Evans, and a big physical linebacker. Remember all the great years he had down there in New Orleans, and he told me he got bit by a spider in his thigh and developed an infection, and it didn't leave him for weeks.
Pro Bowl inside backer from the Saints, inactive today. 1st and 10 for the Cardinals on their 38. Start of the second quarter here at Sun Devil Stadium. Schrader with plenty of time tries a crossing pattern, and it's incomplete. Derek Ware, the intended receiver, and there's a penalty flag thrown.
Well, I think that flag was thrown farther than the pass. The pass was only about a 10-yard throw, and that flag came from about 25 yards.
Another penalty against the Eagles. Dale Hamer, the referee.
Nice job.
Defense, number 54. 5 yards.
Britt Hager, Byron Evans' replacement. So 2 defensive holding penalties on Eagle linebackers.
And see Hager, he's number 54, and he's going to be right here on 85. And they're going to come right across the field. And see, he gets the jam right there. You're okay, you're okay. And then he comes back out. Now, I don't know. That doesn't look like too much to me.
First down on the 43. Gets about a yard or 2. Eagles clamp down. The Cardinals have yet to win back-to-back games this season. They have won 4, but have not won 2 in a row, and trying to do that today. And Louis Sharp The veteran offensive tackle is down on the field.